All right, y'all. On behalf of the Grolier, I want to welcome you all this evening. Thank you, James, for hosting this. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your presence. I'm going to introduce the poets tonight. Yeah. Um, so, crafted under sublime duress on Jackie Wang and Tongo Eisen-Martin's visionary poetics. There's an epigraph. And the maps of spring always have to be redrawn again in undared forms. Sylvia Wynter. Jackie Wang's The Sunflower Casts a Spell to Save Us from the Void conducts a startling chorus that is a rich dream book of misanthropes, nighttime nihilists, nomadic, many-bodied seers and lovers who skirt, by way of the oniric, the weird barbaric crush of the metropole's everyday zones of fallenness. These are at once poems of loss and brittle decay, as they are places wherein sublime instances of collective intimacies pool. In the poem, The Future is Between Us, the poet will write, I am confused about who wrote was. In the puddle of our psychic fusion, I could have written your part, but the main frame between us is wilting, and everything starts to break. The satellites are crashing into sad lights. This flux of the profane and the sacred, the violence of our being cleaved, one from the other and each from ourselves, while always in transit to the overcoming of our intimate and collective disillusions. Such attuned ambivalence conjures the searing, probing, turnkey poetics of Wang's austere, surreal poetic vignettes. They are like little discrete mansions for the poor, the shipwrecked, the weary and beset, but not mansions in the sense of fortresses of and for the wealth the ruling classes have stolen, but rather in its original etymological root, which is Latin for dwelling, humble in its disposition toward rest and gathering, which is what these poems do, gather to heal what the poet invokes or summons as, quote, everyone under the spell of the language of trauma. Later, the poet will write, I'm a body of angels, all of me. And then again, I tried to map the dreams, but the bad ones surface like dead fish. I'm writing into you. I see your face. You speak to me in the body vernacular. Incrementally in these poems, the oniric seizes you, flirts by way of fetish and vernacular incantation with the would-be detritus of a death-making capitalist world. Indeed, Wang's poems show us this, but by turns somehow the gown of language's most sacred aspect returns, fluttering, helio-resplendent, and bodies in their bodies are made not so much flesh or whole, but become, as Hortense Spillers once put it, vestibular to themselves, outwardly and inwardly porous, a portico, a column, a roof, a veranda, and an open field to gather in, politically, ontologically, communally, and thereby in ourselves and through one another be renewed. In Tongo Eisen-Martin's ecstatic and prophetic poetry, I hear a different but resonant kind of vernacularity and sublime incantation, as if he were braiding in thick ropes and colonnades by way of chant the various ways we might make our way out of the noise and soul-murdering decay of Babylon. I hear in his most recent Blood on the Fog and his previous collection, Heaven is All Goodbyes, a throbbing plenum in terms of its musicality and song, as if a mic were hooked up to Walt Whitman's spinning hub of the wheeled universe, and M.F. Doom, Fred Hampton, Abbey Lincoln, and Thelonious Monk were there to sound engineer a new kind of lyric, which is an old kind of protest song, summoning grief and rage as ancient and new as each day's twilight is. In the title poem of Heaven is All Goodbyes, Eisen-Martin writes, we don't know what else we're good at besides this traveling. which is the poem's and perhaps something of the book's refrain, in that the I of the poem, which is the I and I, not of a particular subject's individuation, but of what the poet himself calls a Black commons. It is this I, as both source of subjecthood and gaze, that supersedes the narrow, brutal, and pathological European category of man. Here we have a different affirmation of belonging, of social life and social welfare, of wellness and being, which is to say, a refusal of an abrogation of what Frantz Fanon in 1961 called the genuine genocide, constitutive of settler colonialism and white supremacy. In Blood on the Fog, Eisen-Martin writes, domestic colony in increments of eclipse, shiny incarcerated writer blocked by, empty San Francisco wallet blocked by gangsterism, and other coherent outcomes, hymnal outcomes. These are not only stones thrown at our many Goliaths, they thread, they braid a way through the homicidal labyrinth of our age. His are all fugitive hymns, the voicings of a grioting us home. For in Eisen-Martin's poetics, he returns us to the rituals wherein the profane, when incanted, becomes sacred. That is, he returns us to the poetic voice of the maker, making a plurality of worlds for each of us to enter into and find our collective honor and worth within. Peripatetic, searching, these poems, these poets move us, assemble us, halt us, alchemically, metabolically, so that we may each become, out of contemplation and resolve, the redrawn map we need to find our way beyond the endlessly proliferating carcerality and predation of our historical moment. William Carlos Williams once wrote, "For everything we know and do is tied up with words, with the phrases words make, with the grammar which stultifies. It's the words we need to get back to, words washed clean. Until we get the power of thought back through a new minting of the words, we are actually sunk." In each of these poets tonight, we are grounded. We feel and touch the layers of history's sedimentations, but we are never sunk. Their attentions and attentiveness radically refuse the enclosure of our imaginative commons. The gift of them together tonight is that we may see and feel and hear not only our words washed clean, but the power of thought returned to us. These poets, these poems touch us to move us that way, toward thought's courageous enactments that improvise and innovate an ensemble for us, a singularly multiple but indivisible way to say and co-create the worlds we now need. This is what a poetics should do: wash our words and our worlds clean. And tonight we gather in a rare sacred instance of its shared power and presency. Please help me warmly welcome Jackie Wang and Tongo Eisen-Martin.
Thanks for lowering the mic for your shorty over here. It's a huge honor to be reading with Tongo tonight because I did an event with Tongo's partner, Charisse. And now I feel like I, am, I don't know, maybe like a part of the family or something. And Charisse did an incredible presentation on Black communism today at the Warren Center. So I'm going to read some poems from my book, The Sunflower Cast a Spell to Save Us from the Void. And this is a very strange book of dream poems that emerges out of my practice of documenting my dreams. And it goes into, just, I don't want to say I don't want to make dream space only political, but that's a huge piece of the book and my interest in dreams and the practice of dreaming. But dreams are just really weird. The way that they metabolize subjective experience and, kind of remix things that you've seen throughout the day. And I don't know about you all, but I have lots of apocalyptic dreams about climate collapse. I have a lot of geopolitical dreams, and this is something that's been weighing on me very intensely, even in my waking life, feeling like we're on the brink right now, especially, the escalation spiral between Israel and Iran right now, which I think Israel is trying to distract from the genocide they're committing in Gaza. So I think we need to pay attention to what's going on, but it shows up in my dreams as well. And peculiarly, 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 wow, it's like a tongue twister. I have a lot of dreams about leftist infighting and sectarianism. I'm not sure if this turns up in people's dreams. It's funny because Charisse was saying, like, the left is, so weak as it is, we can't like succumb to sectarianism. And I totally agree with that. But this dream is about infighting in the Marxist world. And this is titled Preliminary Notes on the Marxist White Boy Recognition System. It is New York, and I have some articles coming out in a student newspaper run by Marxist boys who believe they are the legatees of the Frankfurt School. Their detractors think their analysis is dated and that they don't understand the nature of value under late capitalism. The factious leftist publishers all like me. I can't understand why. I give them my words. We celebrate the release of Death Notes 3 at the editor's apartment, but a fight breaks out between the autonomists who are of the Italian tradition and those affiliated with French ultra-leftists such as Tikkun. Some insults are hurled about Negri. The communizationist cavil at his advocacy of the universal wage. Another makes a countervailing remark about the stupidity of theory of the jeune fille. All I can think about is escaping through drugs. Or I hope Kant shows up. Kant comes, so drugs are unnecessary. In front of Kant, I try to fake knowing, and he says, it's okay to not know everything. I say, what do you know better than anyone else? He replies, red sea turtles. I expected him to say Emily Dickinson or Walt Whitman or pragmatist philosophy, but red sea turtles is an opening. I point to my necklace, a red turtle. I don't know if it's a sea turtle, but my ex-girlfriend did buy it at the aquarium. The head falls off. It makes my rosy spirit umber with sadness. It's okay, I tell Kant, as though he is actually invested in the fate of the turtle on my necklace. Now it just looks like it has retreated into its shell. Kant asks me what subject I know better than anyone else. I shrug and say, I don't know anything. All right, so this next poem is one of my climate apocalypse dreams. And this is titled Death as a Survival Technique. The world is warming and we humans are to blame. In the future, the world will only hold one person, therefore everyone else must die. It is for this reason that I find myself in a Hunger Games caused by global warming. Everyone knows there can only be one survivor. The people are febrile with murderous rage. Though I do not intend to kill anyone, I still must persuade everyone not to kill me. I have to get them to empathize with me, but I don't plead. Sometimes I hide by lying prone atop a pole, pretending to be dead. By making myself visible, I remove the anxiety of being found. My fake death becomes an orchestration that involves as many people as Tupac's pseudo-death. In the distance, I hear Maxine eulogize me. He knows I'm not dead, but to stop people from killing me, he must convince them that I've died. Feigning death makes me privy to how I will be remembered. I think, how sad that people are not alive to experience their funerals because it's the most love they'll ever get. Maxine memorializes people in a way that only a queer who has lived through the AIDS crisis can. Ah, but I'm alive. The threat of death calms me. On the shore, there is a crumbling beach house cold from the iconography of eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Everything is crumbling as we wait for intermittent waves to hit. Where in this house will I find air to breathe? The walls won't hold. The safety I feel in this structure is false. I am crouched in a corner waiting to die until Elijah comes and asks me to participate in a fashion show to, quote, lighten the apocalyptic mood. Elijah takes me to a warehouse, dresses me in skimpy clothes, and pushes me onto the stage. Ashamed of my body, I try to cover myself with my hands and arms. From the audience, he yells, "Show more belly!" And then to celebrate my performance, he takes me into an empty, crumbling house to play me a song on the piano while the house fills with water. Imminent apocalyptic obliteration has brought out everyone's repressed desires. All over the shore, people are having BDSM sex in the ruins. Where did all these leather belts come from? I think. I see my friend all tied up, blissed out, her eyes rolling back in her head. It is a way to prepare for death. The sadists believe they will be the ones who will survive. The masochists embrace their powerlessness in the situation. Freakish weather makes us all non-sovereign. In this sense, the sadists will be punished for their hubris, the belief that through sheer muscular will they can beat Mother Nature. The story becomes an epic showdown between sadists and masochists. But I know the situation calls for total passivity. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe it's a pact with the gods. The secret is to not try. In giving yourself over to the inevitability of death, nothing can hurt you. Nature no longer wants to kill you. You have put yourself at the center of the battle of cosmic forces and lowered your sword. Because you are willing to die, you will be spared. But, I am sad that all my friends will die, even if this situation has turned them against me. Why must only one survive this environmental catastrophe? To submit, to take the passive road to heaven? Survival of the fittest? No, survival of the best at playing dead. So in November, I published a book of my juvenilia titled Alien Daughters Walk into the Sun. And I was kind of mortified when I was putting the manuscript together. I'm like, oh, I'm a serious academic now. What are people going to think when they read all these essays about like queer sex and I don't know, all my hitchhiking and bicycle adventures. But I don't know, it's like, you know what, I stand behind it at the end of the day. And it really is a book that is about the art of living, and there's a lot of different kinds of texts in this book. It's kind of an essay collection, but I snuck some poetry into the manuscript. And Semiotext always says that they don't publish poetry because nobody buys poetry. So I had to sneak the poetry in under the guise of an essay collection. So the piece that I'm going to read now is a long poem titled I Found My Soul at the Bottom of the Pool. And I wrote it in the University of Glasgow library while listening to my friend Ben Lorber's music. He is this like anti-Zionist Jewish mystic who had a band where he would make songs that use William Blake and Paul Celan as the lyrics to his songs. So I was listening to him on repeat while composing this poem, and he has a cameo. He's the Jewish boy on Adderall reading Marx in the library. So this is I Found My Soul at the Bottom of the Pool, Part 1. I found my soul there, I found it at the bottom of the pool. She saw, no I saw, no she saw, no I saw. I saw my soul vibrating at the bottom of the pool. I saw my soul just out of reach. I saw my soul go for a swim. I found my soul in rainbow diving sticks at the bottom of the pool. I found the years I lost to sleep at the bottom of the pool. I found my mother's womb at the bottom of the pool. I found my mother's watch at the bottom of the pool. I found my focus in chlorinated water. I found a feast spread out on a dining room table at the bottom of the pool. I found 2 cups of coffee and waking up at 6 a.m. at the bottom of the pool. I found the world at the bottom of the pool. There is water at the bottom of the pool. There is a comfortable bed at the bottom of the pool. I found the continuity of dust and mommy at the bottom of the pool. I found my manuscript at the bottom of the pool. I found centuries of strangled mirrors at the bottom of the pool. I found the first day of my mother's fall from grace at the bottom of the pool. I found unnameable deities at the bottom of the pool. I found particles of my past repeating themselves at the bottom of the pool. I found Nietzsche at the bottom of the pool. I found directions on how to say no to your tongue and walk away at the bottom of the pool. I found the reason why it is so easy to forgive everyone except myself at the bottom of the pool. I found the mystery of gravity at the bottom of the pool. I found myself untamed and inside the feeling at the bottom of the pool. At the bottom of the pool, there is a basket of lone berries, and the pool is the spreading out and becoming full of the pool. The pool is tautological. The pool is at the bottom of the pool. The pool is a hum that settles blood and everything terrible. At the bottom of the pool, there is the choice to get mad or just be a silent witness. At the bottom of the pool, there is a house that can't get rid of the stench of animals. At the bottom of the pool, there is a body that inhabits itself without the fear of being common. At the bottom of the pool, there is a rocking chair and an old woman in it, waiting for her friend to return. At the bottom of the pool, there is a way back to the fever pitch of receiving your letter. At the bottom of the pool, there is a way back to the joy of writing and the discovery of eyes you never knew were hiding beneath your hair. At the bottom of the pool, there is an eye opening for the first time, a furry creature prodding its babe alive. I am creaturing at the bottom of the pool. At the bottom of the pool, there is a cocktail of all the best drugs. At the bottom of the pool, there is here. At the bottom of the pool, there is a way to be here. At the bottom of the pool, there is a toilet, and the toilet is a portal to heaven. Part 2. The Haymarket Oracle whips her hair to the beat of the bleeding toes. We are as we should be, she says, even after swaths of our inner topographies are swept away by the flood. Be quiet and admire the way other people strain to exist. Let there be nothing inside your head except the image of women walking into the sun. You're looking for a fancy way to shoulder the night while knowing nothing of the night you wish to speak. The way the undertones chime like the voice of a distressed woman on the phone. The woman on the phone says the red dress crumpled and limp on the wet street is what it means to suffer as a daughter suffers 14 hours a day. Her phone is not plugged in. And on she goes about how she would like to crawl into the dress and sleep and sleep and sleep for a fierce arrival tomorrow. I am a blackberry covered in spider webs, she says, but all you take away is a passing impression of being caught. I am a shrill bride anxiously anticipating the moment of negation, which is also the moment of being made into someone normal enough to be a lawyer. What do you know of the way lawful people count the days left to have a baby? Or the way people devote themselves to being vegan or a poet because they're not normal enough to be a lawyer? Let them laugh a little because they are sick and need to feel unrestrained. The sun is rising over the hill, and there's no question about it. You have reserved your tenderness for the wrong people, for the people who deserve it least. Oh, Haymarket Oracle, will you be a reason for me to take note of where I am? He'll never love the crack in the way the world flows out of it, as blood spurts from the mouth of the one who is a little bit too excited after having spoken to God. A word vibrating in the body is a way to know God, a gold coin glowing at the center of a damp street, or the way you knew at the end of the night that the truth of God was to be simple and kind to yourself. The gift of the word has been given to women who are not afraid of the rapture of turning themselves inside out. You weren't afraid of dying, but only of being ejected from your life while alive. Don't let yourself not be in your life. Let there be nights spent at your desk, howling, ecstatic, howling. Oh, Haymarket Oracle of pithy mystery. Oh, trains. Oh, how many people carry the hideous metro rag. Oh, spectacles of bodily disfiguration. Oh, nose grown on the forehead of the one who weeps for a new face. When the body is undone, some words are released. Inauguration of a state whose book grows cosmic in scope. In a cup that says, relax, there is the juice of life. I'll be near God. From now on, the pieces of the world will spring luminous into this vision, the way Karl Marx's words sprung luminous into the mind of the drugged out Jewish boy reading in the library. You'll know yourself not afraid and so confused you know everything finally, which is to say, nothing at all. There was always a Bible in the silence of the room. Pursue that state until it becomes dream, and you are a young man on your way to study abroad, top hat and valise, eyes huge with money. What the desert did to your dreams, what the desert did to you. Never had you felt more true to the state of waiting, buried alive. When I look in the mirror now, I think the desert aged me. I feel this haunt in my neck bone where I carry everything left behind. I said, dimension. I want to know life in all its dimensions. Come down and see me. Witness my slaughter. O world felt in a gilded instant when we step out of unhappy rooms into the sun, we are shredded into our sons. Tell him we will become what we never thought we'd have the courage to become. Tell him the sky is waking up to the finitude of tomorrow's coming, and we are to receive the memory of our childhood bedrooms. I remembered the room, the way it bent down to meet me in my sorrow, and how many nights spent in bed drowning because I don't know where my head is. I don't know where I am. There are two ways of drowning in fire, and I am the way of blood. I am the tiredness of this room, its low lighting, the way I bent down to meet the room in its sadness. You are the hypocrisy of light when your soul is dark, the sanguine countenance that betrays your inner disorder. Together we dreamed of drifting down the river, and because it is a day, we are this miracle of day. The way we kneel and beg the day to shine its mercy on us. I was drawn to what I believed was his self-possession, and I used this to punish myself. Because I will never be a man, I'll return to the Caspian Sea with a book on how to begin. Out of this we are born. We are born on the train, watching the morning spread out across the earth. I like the way the frumpy girl wears her headphones and never takes off her jacket. I like everyone and everything. I like you. I like my life, my whacked out way of being, but I can't say for how long. And when I didn't care about being smart, it was easy to just, kind of be a person. And there was the love I wanted to be, and I had a mission on how to be. Did my emotions go flat? No, no, there was the desert, but I think it was more sad than euphoric. But there was psychic. Yes, I am losing my psychic powers because I don't remember the dream, and the dream has nothing to say to me when I'm not bending down to meet the dream in the creek. What there was, profound appreciation, like crying because the world wakes every day, even though you are never ready to be in it. Or how the ocean makes an infant of you, or the moon becomes, I appreciate your big hands because of the way they remind me of the moon, remind me of a pale heart, remind me of the butt in Butt magazine, remind me of the cheeks of my father or a passing cloud. Soon it will be cold. There are too many directions inside you. Finish your books. Be an amorous dolphin. Remember the way everything fired at once, but you have some pills to curb your mania. You have jolts of awareness. You have a way of unstating everything that matters. You have a way of sitting on the floor, falling asleep. You are sad on the train because you remember the way you weep on the train at the beauty that was the feeling that life was coming rather than receding. Now, only the feeling that life is falling away from you, like clumps of hair fall from an unnourished body. Yes, there was the swelling and a way of being more and more in the space until you were the space, while at the same time you could see every little thing that constituted the space in that moment and beyond. Mistakes were exciting, inroads in the art of unknowing, the rush of not rushing, of just being. How marvelous this appointment to be alive. Let your mistakes be a way of remembering what it takes to be free. In the dream, I discover the origins of the film. I return to where I began in pitch black at the bottom of the pool. I return to feel life coming. I return to where there is still someone waiting to meet me and be changed, to where the mystery of lost objects is audible. Yes, I live inside the feeling of embarking, and I have finally come to terms with the fact that I will never be the kind of person who can read on airplanes. Accepting this, I let myself daydream of inverted skies. In transit, the world is too large for demands to narrow my attention. My life becomes distinct and spontaneous. I go to the place where I become pure transmission, transforming, sensual, and holy at the bottom of the pool. Thank you.
Just realized that I haven't eaten since breakfast. Um, that's that's my cousin, eulogized now in literary history. Wasn't pretty, this effect on my eternal soul. Like belated parenting, we haunt each other in quick bursts. Sample the drug, wrestle the angel, no depth of setting. Imagine what defines a creature. With remnants of concrete put none of the world down except slabs of a deadbeat nationalism or a bloodline making the news again. True, I have an absence of style. I'm just a doorstep, moving dead body to dead body. Picture 1960s newspaper clippings and teeth hanging on a string like a book of life. Cigaretting a pen, calling black fire to prayer, unscrewing the blues on played down, the aim to only die for money once. Ladies and gentlemen, we know what you all are not doing. Mainly, you all are not leaving the universe to its childhood. The spirit world up and starts murdering city trees, our psychic re-break, sleeping in my car, Sunday chores, an allegory of new hard R's, no going to regular people jail, no being hunted by regular people, cops. All I dream is physical death, thinking about God and God empty in clumps of prison, my poem, my cubist remade scar, my Saturn for adults, my junkie industrialism. I knew my father as much as I want to be known. While the ruling class is printing judges, fiat kangaroos, making judges hand over fist, rapture cop packs and opposition whites all above a thorny stem. Cast plans picked out like vans for the murder show. Anglo saints addicting you to a power structure. You want me to raise a little slave, don't you? Bash her little brain and send her to your civil rights. Like normal speed bullets changing normal life. Like walking back to the United States in defeat, I go to the railroad tracks and follow them to the station of my enemies. A cobalt-toothed man pitches pennies at my mugshot. Negative all over the United States. There are toddlers in the rock. Yeah, I see why everyone out here got in the big cosmic basket and why blood agreements mean a lot and why I get shot back at. I understand the psycho-spiritual refusal to write white history and take the glass freeway, white skin tattooed on my right forearm, ricochet sewers near where I collapsed into a rat-infested manhood. My new existence is living graffiti. In the kitchen with a lot of gun cylinders to hack up House of God in part, no cops in part, my body brings down to Christmas. The new bullets pray over blankets made from the old bullets. Pray over the 28th hour's next beauty mark. Extrajudicial Confederate statue restoration, the waistband before the next protest post. Hey, by the way, and time is not an illusion, Your Honor. I will save your deaths for last. You're witty, Your Honor. You're moving money again, Your Honor. It's only raining one thing. Non-white cops and prison guard shadows reminded me of spoiled milk flowing on an oil spill. The neighborhood making a lot of fuss over his demise. A new Lake Boy Black Panther party. Malcolm X's ballroom jacket slung over my son's shoulder, the figment of village and new news to a new white preacher, all in an abstract painting of a president, bought slavery some time, didn't it? The tangible screeches of military boats and election Tuesday cars, a cold-blooded study in leg arms, proof that some white people have actually fondled nooses. And sundown couples made their vows of love over opaque peach plastic and boat action audiences. The maker every second is definitely my favorite law of science. Final news clippings of primitive Methodists, my arm changes imperialisms. Simple policing versus structural frenzies. Elementary school script versus even wider spectrums. Artless bleeding in the challenge of watching civilians think. Terrible rituals they have around the corner. They let their elders beg for public mercy. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen these kids' heads in their ears myself and see how much gravy spills out of family crest. Honor fans of war with the t-shirt poems and t-shirt guilt and me having on the cheapest pair of shoes on the bus. I have no choice but to read the city walls for signs of my life. You know, guided by teeth goes this country. There's a cow's mouth on the flag. A peculiar notepad holds street life dear, but the writer's not here. He's somewhere talking to tombstones about the good old days and splashing reborn water on his latest face, or wondering how his old gun is doing in the afterlife, wondering how much death trap is in those gas station aisles. He got to be $1 million a day on this concrete island. New engine in the moon where it never goes down. I mean, 72 straight hours of night, at least according to everyone's posture around here. 8:30 in the morning is really 30 minutes of closing. The city shuts down for a sleepy rat race. Elevators shoe shuffle to the nearest heaven, laughing with rats the whole way up. There are scabs everywhere, in puddles of city, in concentrated schools, in TV lit warm rooms. The light reveals military fatigue when it hits just right on the ties that are wrapped around the necks of lazy white guys. Man, Empire is too easy, baby. Chant at the walls or something if you feel like it. Best way for a target to move is shooting back. Running for a tree line made of freeways. Wisdom says against a war machine on Tuesday, you stand no chance. May we be the last poor people to play it safe. Cow's mouth on the flag. A politician raises his hand and the crowd shows their teeth. An oligarch raises his hand, little kids are not safe outside. You all high, depressed, and comrades in function. 15 minutes of closing in the city has survived another black rebellion. We just paying dues by trash fires not to send anybody consent. Hey, don't you love how deadly things whisper in a moment and people kill like feathers fall when everybody's screaming inside? The writer knows that death is not a matter of dignity, rather humor. In a house that smells like roach races, nuclear percentages on torn stoves. I mean, here life never was just lacy matches and mannequin humanity, hands rushing away from life toward stoves. What we doing here? Surviving for no reason in particular, because nobody go far today. Nobody go far tomorrow. Trust me, hell and heaven cannot count. Strange gardens with secondhand clothes play, and concrete wishes to be human so that it could be accountable. Where they find you drenched. And drains wish to be human so that they could be worthy arms for you to die in. Greet them all, grandson. Prepare for the day when every child is coming. Don't say we ghosts didn't write you a poem. Don't say we didn't dig your life. Remember the shotgun by the coat rack that everybody in the house knows how to use? Remember the tightrope made of needles for walking in between driveways and man-made best friends? Go ahead, grandson, tune this shit again. Never mind, this country kills musicians first. Broken neck night, scar neck life. If these walls could write lyrics, they say, what's your angle, angel eyes? 30, 50 rounds pass by on the street with no daughters. This street has no sons. This young prisoners of war in a racist city that means to make capital. And we know so much. We know it all. We were stood against walls. Who's on the third cross around here? Cow's mouth, salivating over the street. And that is the story of why we aim at teeth. And first, I should have apologized to the souls of the house. I'm wearing the cheekbones of the mask only. Like a pill bottle whose name is yours, name tagged on the side of a factory. It's teeth of the mask now. The back of the head of the mask now. New phase of anti-anthropomorphism, fanning for real faces. Stuck with one of those cultures that believes I chose this family. I'm not creative, just the silliest of the revolution. But trying on my own jacket, the police state psychic enemy advanced my creation of an unmasses, an unmeasured your blood of a lamb that's racialized, an awesome prison sentence. Right angle made between a point on a Louisiana plantation and a 5-year-old's rubber ball, 3 feet high and falling like a deportee plane to complete my interpretation of garden variety genocide. I'm small talk about loving your enemies a little more realistically about paper tigers and also go, I need my left hand back, broke my neck on a piano key, found paradise in the fist fight. Hey, maybe I should check into the Cuban line. Watching the universe last metronome, some-called black Jacobins, they just wait. These fucking religions will start resigning in a decade or two. Some colorfully, some transactionally in a cotton gothic society, class betrayal, going glasses. I mean, ironically, my window started fogging over too as I was trying to figure out which Haiti would get me through the winter, which poem houses souls, which socialist breakthroughs. Breakthroughs like taking 10 steps back and finally trying to stop me. Introducing Gabriel Prosser to the loneliest mother. I mean, I remember childhood. Remember the word childhood being a beginning. Scribbling on an amazing grace, I rented this body from some circumference of slavery. Remember being kicked out the Midwest. Strange food theater, lived in the circuses, like-minded stomachs. The ruling class blessing their blank checks with levy phone, with opioid tea, sentient dollar bills yelling to each other, pocket to pocket. Cello stands in the precinct for a company, counter-revolutionaries. My mother raised me with a simple pain. Poet loses his mind. Like the room has weather, or first girlfriend gravity. Difference between me and you, the man that wants me forever. A pair of apartments defining both my family and political composure. Books behind my back, bail money paved into the streets playing. Euphoria, cliche. Bracing for the medicine's recourse. Sharing a dirty deli sandwich with my friends. Black Jacobins underground topography of a grandmother's hands. Psychology of the mask now. Teeth of the mask again. You know, these little societies, they wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent on offering me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back. I wrangle the concrete sometimes like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence turned away from opponents. Like God is the dangerous twin. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor. You know, they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you in your broken neck from their foolish euphoria, from the loyalty over their great superstition, and loyalty over their grand reform. I'm terms to my mother completely disrespected for peeling the heat off of purgatory. Man, they kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again in this fucking final industrial complex. The bloodlines picked over, picked through a sport and spiritual death that you definitely at least half made police become a pretty word. I'm reading a list mob shoestrings like they were tea leaves, teaching you how to write about city. It's the 25th century in the mirror, people. Tyranny against your chump times, your chump to be mocked even with a gun in your car. A cubit of needlework spell, tuned for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Time to people curled up in a fetal position next to a dime and dime, just another service day in the theatrics of T.I.'s fascism and a bouquet of surveillance cameras in the poverty of God, new blue eyes, corpses of water, a newly potted presidency, a one big shiny coin if you ask animated capitalism, another non-literal voice killing his white freedom, the deification of hyphens, medicine brand and picture shows, great protests in LA, guess of our ink, drop kicking roses in the graveyard. Man, like a stone torn in half, the pen advances, despite CIA guideposts, despite non-African past and futures. A metaphorical but not surreal day in a horn-ridden life. Horn player, improvising king, like a radio prize fight featuring Shango himself, a real hand sweeps the land of races. Now I return to the ground. May I make progress with the gun. On our mother Emmanuel, they put on music that evening. A swinging type body language for you to drink with fermented $5 bills. For your body language, some applause. My past stomach line. Neither a good thing nor a bad thing, like being psychic on the way to a lethal injection. They sit you down with Lady Day. Lady Day leading you to surrender their souls to Africa too soon. Polly thought floating in the cup of water, she saved me. Accessing my stomach, accessing the love, the American lynched. Coast leaves wooden avalanche to the wrist. Our mother Emmanuel avalanche into the sharp keys pain. Or a deal you make with pain. A piano makes sense for them. Laying hands on the world gradually. Addressing the bending necks on the streets of the north. Travel sailing in pain, repeating pain in the north. 10 trigger fingers on that piano formally would have me. Putting 100 spots on every rest stop of the Lady Day, leaning on trees again. Recruiting the countryside itself, saying, lay your plan out on this lightning. Make your poems a corner pocket of them. Man, I fucking greeted the blues itself. America may clean my dead body, but will never include me. There goes the poet. Killing without. Never mind this painting of your language. May I be a meaningful lynching. Crows passing. Good and dead by the afternoon. So from a 2-floor skyline in an abandoned house once talked to me. He said, young man, you are heroic at 10 years old. Among 20 generations of friends, your friends, they will free fall away. They will free fall up. They will free fall the walls with 5th grade speed to industrial paint behind secondhand fences. Young men use quick knife tones, be bone and brass, be last laugh music. You're always leaving, always one change of clothes from the door, a life in escape. A 2-floor skyline says, you're the guy that dies in the middle. The friend more blues than skin. The face that cheap hotel schizophrenics can place with their 90-mile-per-hour right eyes among dry heat killers, once children 3 feet high and roaming and repeating and aiming at cotton mirrors and hang on breathing walls. You were 10 years old, tagging along, yawning at well-lit violence, whistling tool shop songs. Shit, you would be useful. You would be high and alone. Flying on a nephew dragon, a $20 family in a sky that calls itself just more soil. Around walls that are just walls, except these walls suggest you make wives out of highs and currency. Here the air is polite to sleepy glass and bullying wall. Young man, you will come to admit that sometimes suicide is power. Because some people live stronger as ghosts. And sometimes the afterlife empties. Billions of souls enter objects like playground bullets in abandoned door frames. Even broken glass will prove it has voice too. They're 24 hours behind your back. Look all over your shoulder right now. Can you hear it? The sound of drums punching themselves out. The sound of piano parts learned in between assassination attempts. Be bold and proud. Be bold enough for 2 souls. Be invincible again. Suffer red-eyed accents, professional fingertips, gifted victims. 6 in the morning beer. The first month of probation. To shout at the wall. See these words that shouldn't be home. Look behind you again. Be invincible again. Be windward. Be a sad machete, shit. Be her son. Be a thief. Still looks back, laugh too long, and never look away. The afterlife will empty and walk you home. And I had this dream that I was laid up in the hospital. And people kept coming into my room by the dozens, and each dozen had special handshakes for each other and occasionally current dance moves, and they would kick my hospital bed from time to time to let me know that they'd be dancing from this room on out to my grave. Strange cha-chas and soft shoe shuffles, disco spins like they were dancing for a white sundial, marking numbness in their feet drum race right. And I was ready to die because ask a musician in the tunes, after court, it's the surroundings themselves that is the uniform, but still, I just couldn't bring myself to visualize against God. One of them stood over me like a conductor, waving their arms over my body, like trying to direct my heart to beat fainter and fainter, trying to direct the tubes to turn the fluids back. I just kept fading from consciousness with like thud after thud on the legs of my bed as they danced, wilder and wilder, wild but meek or artificially meek, like an artificial pastor told them to be. I was be some kind of projection or character to be laid at their feet. You the only one participating in the revolution today. They mocked me. And I was ready to go because there's plenty of pianos that could use a new soul. And I'm being a revolution, unfortunately, for as long as it takes. So you could punch me out now. Shit, I was born with 1 foot in a lime pit anyway, but man, check it out. No one bothered to ask the doctor if I was really dead. They were just too busy strutting, too busy kissing, and I kept fighting with only enough breath and sweet consciousness to count their smiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I heard a voice, a whisper, and it was counting with me. 6, we said. 7, we said. 8. Then another voice joined us. 9, 10, then another. You see, I haven't been eating, Mama. I've been in a trance. I haven't been sleeping. I've been washing my face off the port of Charleston. There's blood on the fall. You know, a lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven, though. And here's a man before a fight, a leave me alone type character, emerging from the penniless death of a one-way street fiction, a fancy way of saying I'm gonna make it even if I have to drive backwards. All I have is chord changes and 1,000 backhands. Driving the street like I'm choking. A car full of nails. Hasn't been a sun since November, and there hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. You see this gun on the table and something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone? All my death sleep late. My son better be quick. My daughter better shoot first because we fall for no one. We fall for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is the heat. This lady would trying to tell me about possession. Drink like meat is what I mostly hear. And most of the world leaves me alone. To breathe small like a giant. To go to jail every once in a while. When the genocide kicks up in late May, when politicians have too easy a time, I'm gassing backwards out of one-way street. In honor of myself. And in honor of you. If you understand the nature of the world. How long I've been just like my father, a hell of a resemblance. Says the anxiety of the neighborhood. This is a crossroad or a crossroads narrative. There's so much crossroads, people get in the habit of turn back on to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words. A man before a fight, you feel the heat, but there's nothing to keep in mind. There's nothing to remember. Really, there's nothing to be. It's just this moment, then another, then you stare, then it all becomes stable, then the table legs go fuzzy, and Friday's an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. It's cool to panic for a second. Composure is wasted on your worst enemies. People are marked on that sidewalk. You're the only thing life-size. Everybody knows this in a wire hanger empire. When the blood stops walking, that feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fold. You better swing one more time. You know, that father of yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said, running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, alongside this water. And people don't rise from the grave. They're not laid down neither. It's us who flip all around their body. And when the people around you all look like they're about to jump, it might be your time. You'll feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls, and the earth outside mutes, don't panic. Don't try to recreate the earth outside. Don't tell jokes to yourself. Don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fist and walk away. It might be heaven if you understand the nature of the world.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Let's give the poets another round of applause for a wonderful reading. And let's give Keith a round of applause for some wonderful introductions. We have some books for sale over here. The poets will be signing books. Thank you very much for coming this evening. If everyone would please move their chairs up against one of the walls, I would be very grateful. Thank you.
Grolier.
Every time I sit here, it's like amazing, but I'm like, oh.
Yeah, what if the fire department does show up and then we get like a citation or something?
What?
I don't know. I don't know what the capacity of this stuff. And I've never asked because
Because
then
don't,
it's
don't,
probably
you know,
way
you better
lower.
ask forgiveness and permission.
Exactly. I've learned that many times. Jackie, excellent reading. Thank you so much for giving it.
Right. Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
I'm so glad I made it on time. I was like
Worked out.
late from work and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drive there because it'll be faster. And I kept like almost getting a parking spot and
Yeah,
I'd
it's
be like,
so frustrating sometimes.
so anyway,
Worked
great
out.
reading, great introduction. It was great. And James sent a million books for me.
I do have a lot of books.
I
to
know
do.
you do. So I have two so bad.
You like did some orders?
Sure did.
Oh my God, I'm also hungry.
You go right here.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
You go back into semiotext. You got that into semiotext. That was. Yeah, man, we got it.
Poetry doesn't sell. Is that what they're not like they're like moving in units.
I know, they're like very. Well, they're like that.
It was great.
Crowd, so, yeah. He had background in that. Yeah. Or, yeah. Whatever.
So good to hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
No, definitely not. I'm doing okay.
They're very going there. They're third.
Not a lot.
Yeah, so like part of the reason that I like trusting in here that I when I got so many nicknames. So many nicknames. And I like paid us $100 a head. Oh, no, I just like, I just don't honestly, then I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, right.
And Wednesday nights before. Oh, sorry, I was on a little question.
No, I don't know. I mean.
Yeah, it's great.
But they have to have like, they have, yeah, you're like slaughtered.
You hear that?
She's looking away.
And Joe. I don't know if this is production. It's already been announced. They can't back out. No, they can't back out. It's just like, sorry. No, and the TV, my agent and their. You just have to like,
Oh, you, okay, cool. And if you could sign the posters too for the archives. Please and thank you.
Dennis with
Two N's.
two N's, okay.
I'm glad you got to stick some poems in the Semiotext.
I know, right?
Are they good to
Wait,
work
two?
with?
Oh, they're great to work with.
Cool.
I love working.
Yeah, two N's, DENNIS. Dennis.
Together.
So sorry.